Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I think we'll get this meeting started and everybody has places to go and people to see. All right, this is a meeting of the Student Success Committee. Today is Monday, January 24th, 2022, and it is approximately 5:31 p.m. And we're meeting here at the Harold Urey Library, the Falcon Back Executive Conference Room. This is just a committee meeting, but nonetheless, I'd like to take a roll call for the committee members that have been appointed by the board. Lupita Cepeda. Jackie Levin Ramos. I think she said she was absent. She told me she's not going to make it. Karina Elizondo
Present.
and Cynthia Maris chair. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. All right. We met back in October and we said we would gather around again within about 3 months' time to give everybody a chance to go and work on the objectives and the goals that we had set out at that meeting. Because we looked at the mission statement of the college, we looked at the district goals and objectives, just kind of like a recap. Dr. Tijerina and Ms. Ramos and I had gone to a conference in Austin. And so we were given, some ideas as to the new direction of community colleges and what factors, what elements or what points to now consider. And as we address student success, that maybe it's not so much about the numbers, but there are other things that are coming into play, giving the era that we're in, giving whatever is happening around us, COVID and nothing else. So we all had to realign, redirect, and rethink our focus and maybe possibly our mission statement and our goals for the community college. So at the last meeting, if I recall, unless I'm mistaken, I'm trying to get my notes here together. We kind of just picked a couple of the goals that we have already in our mission statement and some of those objectives. And we emphasize highlighting, some of them only and not tackling them all, because some of them are pretty much a thing that is already ongoing with students, like enrollments and all of that kind of thing. And so we decided to possibly just focus on a couple of goals and a couple of the objectives within those goals. So we wouldn't take on too much. And then at the end of the day, we wind up doing very little because we just, try to grab onto so much. And I know staff made some reports at the last meeting and we are appreciative of that. And so just moving forward then, I think tonight we're going to focus on student success, or goal number 1, I believe, and then we're going to go into the sub-objectives, 1, 3, and 5 of goal 1 of student success. And then we're going to review the college district goals and objectives, goal 2, and focus on objective maybe number 1. And again, trying to just tackle this thing as we move along and see how much of information we can put together. And then we'll report to the board on what this committee is doing so that they're always aware, because that was one of the commitments that we did as a committee, that we were going to be reporting to the board occasionally, frequently, and as we have our meetings, so that they can be ensured and assured as well that we are moving in the right direction. And obviously, of course, if they have any input themselves, once we present our report, we will take that as good feedback and move on. All right. I will now call on Dr. Marisela Tijerina, so we can kind of get started, unless I misinterpreted, Dr. Tijerina, the agenda for today, or what we're going to discuss. If you can just kind of get us started on that, please.
Thank you, Ms. Mares. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, interim president for the record. And that is correct. In the last Student Success Committee meeting, we said we were going to focus on our strategic planning and where we were at. So in today's meeting, we are going to focus on goal 1, which is student success. And if you look at our objectives of the strategic plan, today we will focus on 1.1 for the record, which is to improve the transition to college. So today we have Ms. Andrea Lopez, followed by, again, Ms. Andrea Lopez, who will focus on objective 1.3, which is to provide academic and college readiness advising. We would like to show to the board the different things that are going on with what was called developmental education. We really call it college readiness now. And then lastly, to sum up that goal, we have Dean Sandra Cortez and Brenda Martinez, who will focus on 1.5, which is to facilitate the integration of non-credit students into college credits and the great work that we've done internally with internal articulation agreements with the different departments and continuing ed. So if I may, Chair, I'll go ahead and let Ms. Lopez begin her presentation on the transition, and then we will go with goal 2.
Dr. Tijerina, and welcome, Ms. Lopez. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hello. Good evening. For the record, my name is Andrea Lopez, and I am the Associate Dean of Enrollment Management and Student Success. And I will be providing on updates on where we are in terms of the first goal, which is to ensure students have adequate access and support for the achievement, completion, and success of their educational goals. So we were tasked with completing, with creating an enrollment checklist in an effort to streamline the process for students. One of the concerns or complaints that we would get from students was that the enrollment process was very cumbersome and it was difficult to navigate, especially for those that were coming in brand new, first generation, no prior experience with the college environment and setting. So we went ahead and created a registration checklist, and we met all of the enrollment directors, and we also invited feedback from work studies and some of our students to create and simplify as much as possible the enrollment process. So we have embedded this registration checklist in all of our registration guides, which are available on the website. And we also have paper copies that we issue to students as they're coming in for in-person services. So the very first step in the registration process is admissions. And then the second step is for them to apply for financial aid. The third step is to meet with an academic advisor. The fourth step is to clear any registration holds. The fifth step is to register for classes. And the sixth and last step is to pay for classes. Another thing that we thought would be helpful to students is if we develop signage outside of each of the respective offices that we wanted to assign a number that corresponded with the step in the checklist. So for example, the very first step is to apply for admissions. And so the Office of the Registrar and Admissions has a sign with the number 1 and it says Office of the Registrar and Admissions. Some of our office titles are very long. And so it was just easier when we're triaging the lines as students are coming in to say, okay, what is it that you're pending? You haven't applied for admission, you're going to go to office number 1. That's the very first step. You're needing to seek advising, you're going to go upstairs, look for office number 3. That's the third step. And then what comes next? The fourth step. So it's really helped us streamline the enrollment process for students. There is still a lot more work to be done because there are some steps now with COVID. We have online services, and so we want to make sure that we incorporate our online processes into this checklist. And so we will be enhancing the checklist to include QR codes, which will direct students straight to our websites. And then also we want to upgrade the signage that we have in the different offices at Lerma Peña and then also at Bully Hall. I also want to share with you that our recruitment team worked with the marketing department to develop a marketing brochure, which also includes the enrollment checklist, which is exactly the same steps that are listed in the registration checklist that's in the registration guide. And so this brochure is issued to students at every recruitment event, when we're working with them at the high schools. And again, even though they're not on campus, it's easy for us to say, okay, step 1, you're going to apply for admission. When you get to campus, look for office number 1. And that's where you start. So I want to thank Dr. Ortiz and her team for taking the initiative of working with marketing to develop that brochure. Any questions on the checklist before I move on, or any feedback?
Well, you said we're taking that marketing brochure to prospective high school students, but obviously they would be available to anyone who's going to be interested, whether, even I keep going back to the old term, the non-traditional, students. How are we making that available? Just through the website that they're going to be able to see this process?
Through the website, but also through the recruitment team. They're not only recruiting at the high schools, they also recruit and participate at other community events, including businesses. I know that they've worked with Dean Cortez in her area and working with certain employers to get the word out there and market and recruit members of the community as well, not just our high school students. So they are issuing this at every recruitment event, whether it be at the high school or community or business building.
So we have already rolled this out.
Yes.
It's already in progress.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else have questions? Any committee members? Member Mr. Pedro?
I have a question on one of the steps. If a student has a past due balance, how difficult is for that student to be able to talk to someone at the college and get it resolved? I get calls from parents, that students have a hard time or can't get a hold of us or different situations. Are we trying to maybe make it easier for those students? And I understand they have a balance, so with that balance, they can't go any further. But are we making it easier for them?
We will make it easier in the sense that if they happen to come to the financial aid office, or if they're meeting with an advisor, whomever it is at the enrollment office that they disclose that they have a balance, then we will make the effort in picking up the phone and calling somebody from the bursar's office so that they can explain and give us a better idea of what it is, why that balance is there, so that we can explain and inform the student, because oftentimes, from my experience, students aren't aware that they have a balance and they don't understand why that balance is there.
Right.
So we do make an effort to get a hold of somebody from the bursar's office so that they can explain that information to us. And if needed, then we do have to refer the student over to the bursar's office so that they can get that balance cleared. Depending on the nature or the reason why the balance is there, then we may reach out to our donor relations office, or we may try to see if maybe we can find funds to be able to cover that balance. That has been done in the past.
So we do try to accommodate
Yes, yes.
the students. Now, if they're in person, do we have it handled right then and there with the different departments
Yes.
before they leave the campus?
Yes, the nice thing about Lerma Peña and Billy Hall Student Center is that we're all of the enrollment offices, including the bursar's office, which is a part of the enrollment division, but it's still part of the process. We're all housed in the same building. So if the student's in person, we can easily pick up the phone. If we need to refer them over to the bursar's office, we can walk them downstairs. If, we're at the advising office or from financial aid, we can just walk them across the hall over to the bursar's office so that they can get that assistance. And the same holds true for the Billy Hall Student Center.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Madison. No questions? All right, you may proceed, Ms. Lopez. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next objective is objective 1.3, and that is to provide academic and college readiness advising with access to appropriate student support services. So I'm going to try my best to condense and simplify our co-requisite and pathways for students. So we offer at Laredo College co-requisite courses. It used to be prior to 2017 that students would have to take 6 or 9 hours of developmental education before they could achieve or be placed into a college level course. That is no longer the case. With House Bill 2223, the Texas Coordinating Board has mandated and required all institutions to offer co-requisite courses. And for the 2021-2022 academic year, we were required to have 75% of our developmental education students placed in a co-requisite course. So LC, because of the diligent work that instruction has done, has narrowed and simplified the co-requisite and developmental education plan down to just one developmental course. So regardless of where the student places, they only stand to take one developmental course. That's 3 credit hours. And the beauty behind the co-requisite course is that while they're enrolled in that developmental course, they are also able to take a college credit course, a corresponding college credit course. So for example, in reading and writing, we offer integrated reading and writing 0376, which is a developmental education course. And that is paired with English 1301, which is our composition 1. So students will enroll in INRW 0376 with English 1301. So long as they do well in the course, then at the end of the semester, they will become college ready, but they will have also earned 3 credit hours of college credit. It was a bit of a challenge before this model was introduced to convince students to enroll in developmental education, especially when they were looking, placing at the lowest level, and they saw that they had 9 hours before they could even begin taking the classes that were going to award college credit. So now we can explain to students that they have the option of enrolling in these courses, these co-requisite courses, and not only will they achieve college readiness and receive additional support to supplement the instruction that's going on in the college credit to ensure their success, but they'll also complete 3 credit hours of college credit. So for reading and writing, the only developmental class that we offer is INRW 0376. For math, we have 4 different co-requisite options for students. And so we offer co-requisite options for Math 1314, which is college algebra, Math 1324, which is business math 1, Math 1332, which is contemporary mathematics, and Math 1342, which is statistics. So students also have that option in enrolling in a developmental course paired with college level for math. Another initiative that was implemented was the Mathways, which is providing options to students for math depending on what their major is. So, for example, we have algebra intensive math courses, which includes college algebra and business math, Math 1324. For students that are STEM majors, those that are in a business major, or if they're seeking teacher certification, we will place them in this pathway. So when advisors are meeting with students, it's not so much as, okay, well, what is your TSI score, or what is it that you're placing in? We also have to ask, what is it that you plan to major in? Because that is going to determine what math course they're going to be taking. It's no longer the case that everybody needs to take Math 1314, which used to be the case 5-6 years ago. Now students have options to ensure their success. For non-algebra intensive math, we offer Math 1332, which is contemporary mathematics, and Math 1342, which is statistics. And this is appropriate for our social science majors, our liberal arts majors, and our allied health and health professions majors. And then we also offer math college readiness. So for some of our technical vocational degrees, they don't require students to complete or earn credit for a math course. In some cases, they only need to take a science. That being the case, we wouldn't recommend co-requisite options for these students because they don't need the college level math credit, for example, in nursing. They only need to take anatomy and physiology 1, 2, and the rest of their sciences. So for them, we also have a different pathway outside of the co-requisites, which is to take a self-paced course, either Math 0301 or Math 0304. So again, we have a variety of different options for students depending on what their major is, what their future career goals are, and that is going to determine what courses we're going to offer and recommend to students.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Elizondo.
Ms. Lopez, I have a question. Statistically, how many students are affected by this? Not necessarily affected, but what's the percentage of students that need to take our college readiness class?
Okay, so for reading and writing, I can say with 100% confidence that 100% of our students that place at the developmental education level enroll in a prerequisite, because that is the only option that we offer to them. For math, it's a little bit different again, because we have to give an option for students that don't need to complete a college level math as part of their program. We do not have 100% enrollment in co-requisite courses, but we're very close, and we have exceeded the 75% that is required of us by the state. So I can come back at a later time or send you provide Dr. Tijerina the exact numbers regarding how many students or what percentage of our developmental education students enroll in these prerequisite courses for math.
Thank you. And just for clarification purposes, this is just algebra, math, and writing. I mean, algebra, reading, and writing, correct?
Yes, we have, we used to have separate reading and writing developmental courses. So we have, for example, reading 0376 and writing 0376. But we, I believe it was in 2014, we combined the two. So now students only have to take one class for reading and writing. Any other questions?
Anyone else? Dr. Elizondo?
Hello, David Arazola for the record. Just to maybe shed a little bit of light on your question, Ms. Elizondo. Statistically, if we look at the last 10 years of data, about 64, 66% of our students are considered academically disadvantaged. So that means that when they come in, they'll have to take at least a math developmental course or a reading writing developmental course. So, and that number has been pretty steady for the last several years. And just looking at our most recent data, which was from 2020-21, we were at 64% of our students that came in at an academically disadvantaged.
What's the percentage again? Sorry.
63.98. Now, with these courses that Ms. Lopez is referring to, what we've accomplished is where 10 years ago, a student that would come in would take a couple of semesters worth of classes before even starting on their college level coursework. Now, within the first year that they're here, they're already completing college credit. So it helps them quite a bit.
I think so. And as you mentioned earlier, Ms. Lopez, about the mandate from the coordinating board, that's a major transformation. And it speaks to the point of what Dr. Arizola was saying, because in years past, I've been on this board for a while, we were always getting the reports of so many students being in developmental courses. And I can see where they're going to get discouraged. When you lay out their plan and their pathway, they're going to go, oh, by the time I get to take an actual college course, it'll be 3 years from now. And, whatever the case may be, I'm exaggerating, I know, but yes, it was very, very discouraging, I'm sure. And then on the flip side of that, on the financial side, from the board perspective, obviously, there was something about not getting enough contact hours, for those developmental courses as well. But that was the nature of the beast or the situation at the time, years ago. And so this is something very good. I applaud the coordinating board and then all of you for just kind of working it in so that these students can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and not waste time per se, for lack of a better word, in taking unnecessary courses until they reach their goal, whatever that may be.
And if I may add, Ms. Chair, Ms. Matas, the other beauty thing that instruction has done is for a lot of college level courses, we have removed a lot of the prerequisites. As long as they're enrolled in a co-requisite class, Andrea, correct me if I'm wrong, but a developmental starting student can take even up to 12 college hours, college ready. So like exactly what you said, Ms. Matas, it could take 2 years before a student even entered college credit. Here, we're not discouraging the students anymore. We're in the first semester, they're already in college level as long as they're enrolled in that co-requisite.
And I think the underlying purpose of this committee as well is to ensure that equitable access, for the students and to the services and their coursework. I mean, that's what, I think we're ultimately at the end of the day wanting to put together, equitable access, that everybody can share the same thing, and that we've got that the goals that we talked about at time. And of course, coming back to the presentation, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I get excited. There was the in-service presentation by Dr. Juan. My gosh, I mean, we talk about the changes that we're undergoing right now, and it's all about, that diversity, that equity, and that inclusion that just keeps popping up and popping up. So the more we can do to ensure that that student goes in the correct pathway, doesn't wind up at a university where they tell them, oh, none of your courses are transferable. Sorry, you've got to start from, all the way to page 1 again. You're going, what? I already took these classes at LC. No. things of that nature. So I'm glad to see all of this, that we're working, and we've been doing it, I know, but I guess now COVID and all of that has given us even more of an impetus, to now reframe it, put it in simpler ways, because yes, the students don't have the time. They get time off of work, maybe their lunch hour or something, they want to come register for a class, they want to click in and out, they don't want to sit there, like when you're waiting for a COVID test for 3 hours or 4 hours. So I'm glad to see all of this. I'm sorry, go on.
No, and I do want to say that it's not an exaggeration for some students who are placing at the lowest level of developmental education. It would take them 3 years before they could even enroll in any type of college level courses. That was under the former model. So we do highlight that for students as we're advising them, and emphasize the great opportunity that they have before them, where we're going to do our best to ensure their success. And they're going to have, yes, they have to take a developmental course, but it's going to provide additional support so that they can do well in the English 1301, become college ready, and then also earn college credit. So COVID did provide a lot of challenges for us, but it was also a time of opportunity. The coordinating board, in recognizing that there was very limited access to TSI testing during the pandemic, they did allow institutions to utilize a waiver for exceptional circumstances, in this case being no access to TSI testing. So they allowed us to modify our current placement criteria. The Texas Success Initiative requires that students take a college placement exam, in this case being the Texas Success Initiative assessment at TSIA, before they can enroll in any college level courses or any type of developmental education courses. And depending on the results of that exam, then advisors will place them in either developmental education or in college level courses. With the access to the TSI assessment being so limited during the pandemic, instruction met and they decided on modifying the criteria to permit students to enroll in co-requisite courses without any TSI testing. So this gave a great opportunity to students, 803 students in fall of 2020 to be exact, who were eligible to enroll in co-requisite courses without any type of TSI testing, no high school information. I mean, they were coming in straight out of either, from high school graduation or after earning their GED, or, coming in after having been out for some time. So students were able to enroll in the co-requisites, but instruction also expanded the placement criteria to include the use of high school information, so high school GPA and high school grades in Algebra 2 and English 4, so that we could place students directly into college level courses. So because we didn't have a TSI assessment score to determine whether a student was eligible for college level, we could look at their high school transcript, so long as they had an 85 or higher cumulative average. And then for college level math placement, we were looking at their Algebra 2 course grade, which needed to be an 85 or higher. And for English and reading placement, we would look at their English 2, English 2 course grade. So again, that also had to be an 85 or higher. So for those students, we were able to place them directly into English 1301 or one of the college level math. And so for fall of 2020, we had 253 students who were eligible for that exemption and were able to enroll in college level without any TSI testing. I also want to, just to expand on what Dr. Tijerina had mentioned, that instruction also allowed for the first time ever, I think, to allow the placement in other college level courses if the student was enrolled in a co-requisite course. So for example, we had students who were taking INRW 0376 with English 1301, but now they also had the opportunity of taking a sociology class or a psychology class, or they could enroll in a non-science major course such as geology, earth science, or our biology for non-science majors. So this was really critical to students because before the pandemic, if they were enrolled in one of the prerequisite courses, they were not able to enroll in any of the other college credit courses that required college readiness. So now we were able to let them know that not only are they going to tackle English 1301 or college algebra, but we can also start checking off some of those other college level courses from their degree plan that are related to their specific major. So that gave tremendous opportunity to a lot of students who otherwise, would not have been able to take advantage of that. Any questions about the COVID exemption waivers? I do want to mention that we are currently working with institutional research and planning to disaggregate the data because we have identified those students who have been eligible for the waiver, but now we want to see what does that mean in terms of success? How did they do in these co-requisite courses? Were all of them able to achieve college readiness? And so we're working with them so that we can be able to get a clearer picture of the success rates for this cohort of students. And so as that data becomes available, then I will definitely share, bring it to the committee and share that information with you.
Yeah, it looked very good to eventually have some of that feedback. Yeah, for how they all turned out. All right, good. Sure.
I also want to mention that we at the Student Success Center, which used to house advising, counseling, special services, and career services, is now the Advising, Career, and Transfer Center. And I'm very excited because we just hired 2 coordinators, an advising coordinator and a career services coordinator, who are going to be responsible for developing these services and making sure that we accomplish the goals that we have set forth in terms of offering workshops, career workshops for students. And so we're very excited because now we finally have the personnel who will be able to take charge and lead those efforts. So their start date is February 1st. And so I'd be happy to come back to another committee meeting and provide an update on career services and our transfer services. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
None at the moment. Thank you. That was a very good presentation. Thank you. I appreciate that data.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Sandra Cortez, Dean of Community Ed, for the record. Today we will be presenting on Goal 1.5, the integration of non-credit programs into credit programs. And I'll defer the presentation to Ms. Brenda Martinez. She is the Director for Continuing Education.
Welcome, Ms. Martinez.
Hi, good evening. Brenda Martinez, Director of Continuing Education, for the record. All right. There you go. So today I'm going to be talking about objective 1.5, which states how to facilitate the integration of non-credit students. So our department facilitates the integration of non-credit students by offering short-term non-credit programs that allows the participants to gain the necessary skills and industry recognized credentials for employment. In addition, our programs can be seen as the first step for students to transition to the academic side of the college and join one of the programs offering the workforce division area, specifically in the business and health sciences programs. And since these programs are mostly in high demand, we identified these courses to be an easy integration for students. So for example, students that successfully complete the bookkeeping QuickBooks certified user or the management and leadership general manager program in CE, they can pretty much transition to the business program on the academic side and seek a certificate level 1, either in the applied accounting or business management. Also, as we all know, every year the health sciences programs have a high demand in enrollment, and in preparation for or to enter their selected field. Students can enroll in one of our programs until they are able to enter the health sciences division. We do offer several programs in the health area. As the certified nurse assistant, we offer the patient care technician, certified medical administrative assistant, EKG technician, dental assistant, pharmacy tech. So these programs can be an introductory course for those students that would like to pursue a career in the health sciences. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So another option that we also offer, and this has been done since 2016, is assist the students with transitioning from non-credit to credit courses by providing course articulation and career pathways. We are currently in the process to renew our internal MOU with the Workforce Division. In this case, will be the business department. We have identified this area to be in high demand and to align our course curriculum, our CE programs, and grant college credit through articulation. So upon successful completion of the CE program, the student and meeting the requirement, the student is able to petition for articulated college credit by an established internal process. So there is a process that the students must obtain 70% or better in the CE program. And then we, as a department, we petition for articulated college credit by filling out a form, a request form. Then we must obtain internal approvals and provide to ERS so they can transcript a letter grade corresponding to the approved CEU course final grade. So this is pretty much the way our department is providing these services to students to facilitate the integration of non-credit students to the credit side of the house.
Okay, if I may, a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Continuing education is dear to my heart because that was my very first job here at Laredo Junior College when I graduated from college. That was my first job, continuing education. What are the marketing strategies we're using just to recruit students to these short-term courses beyond obviously the media? Well, that's one question. What are we doing in the marketing arena? Secondly, how are we transitioning them to these programs? What do we offer them in terms of a support mechanism? Do they also get sent to the advising, through the financial, through all the process that a regular student wanting to come? Do you do that at what point when they're taking their short-term course? Do we walk into a classroom and do our presentation? I mean, I'm just exaggerating, but I'm saying, do we go in there and say, by the way, you all are graduating in a week with your 3-month certificate, but did you know that we have this LLC to offer in case you want to continue? Because I'm sure that in those short-term courses, you have a gamut and the whole spectrum of individuals that come to those classes. Can be a young person just graduated from the high school and doesn't know what they want to do. They just figure a short-term course can get me a job. Then you have, again, like I said, the non-traditional ones that have been working, but now they feel that they want to retool themselves and do something else, or they were left without a job because of COVID, whatever the reasons are. But now they're saying, you know what? I was a mechanic. I don't want to be a mechanic for the rest of my life. I want to do something different. So how do we handle that?
Correct.
Or handling it?
So let me answer the first question regarding the marketing. So every quarter, the continuing education department, we produce a catalog of courses that we offer throughout that particular quarter. That catalog is published in our website, and also it's available for students to pick up. And we also are able to distribute that catalog throughout the different departments here at the college. And sometimes we take it to the businesses. So we facilitate that that catalog up for the public, for the general public. And of course, our marketing team, it's great here at the college, and they help us in developing different flyers to promote our programs. So I'll be very honest, our programs are very successful because one, they're very affordable, short term, and we have a lot of assistance also as far as financial assistance. We partner up with our with the La Marruni Vergara, with Workforce Solutions to provide financial assistance so students are able to enter and pay for their courses. So that's one. And then as far as when do we assist the students in integrating or in making them aware that they can transition? Well, we actually, I know for some of our programs, what we do, we have speakers, we have the recruiting team coming to our classes so they can promote the different programs that are available here at the college. We also have the financial aid office going to our classes so they can talk to the students and tell them about the different financial opportunities, FAFSA, and everything that they need to do in order to enter the college. And yes, we do refer them to the ERS so they can follow the process just as in any other traditional and non-traditional student.
Any
May
questions?
I add, if I may add, Ms. Mata?
I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
The other integration is that they're no longer just housed in the Eloy. These students are also going to the LIAC. So let's say they get the business exposure too on the second department. The nursing assistant, the dental assistant, we've been trying to house them at the health science building so that way they see other students, you know, and start to question what other programs are like. So we have prevented what we call that isolated island and now using more of the integration. So, and Brenda's correct. I mean, we do our marketing, but also I think changing the location for these students has also helped the inclusiveness of them feeling part of the college.
And that's where I was going, I was thinking that term inclusive, yeah.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you, Dr. Marisela. So yes, and not only the LIAC, we're also the La Garza, we're also at the more vocational, at the South Campus. So we offer classes in different locations throughout the college to better accommodate our students. And so they can also have another perspective of what we have to offer to them.
And if I may, now that we also offer hybrid courses, you know, with this specific surge of virus that we've had, we had planned face-to-face programs and students, you know, were coming in and whatnot. But with this, like I said, with this surge, we've been forced to do hybrid. We don't want to lose those students, you know, because they really don't get ill. They just have those slight symptoms. And of course, they can't be here face-to-face. So we've transformed a face-to-face program into a hybrid program.
Good, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
What I do want to mention in reference to the programs that we offer for industry recognized credentials is that the students work both ways. We transition our students and talk to them about transitioning to the demand occupations that are being offered in the workforce division, but we also promote it to those individuals within the workforce division that are going for a certificate level 1 or an associate's degree for them to get these industry recognized credentials that employers are also looking for. So in that case, it works both ways for us.
Good, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms. Martinez, appreciate it, thank you. Okay.
Ms. Maris,
Yes,
if I
ma'am.
may, this is Marisela Tijerina for the record. That concludes goal 1.
Yes.
So we're moving on to goal 2. And in goal 2 is preparing the college for the 21st century. And so with this, we want to focus on 2.1, which is to create a collaborative model that integrates student services and instruction, and focus on 2.4, which is to implement best practices using technology to improve learning. And so we have 2 presentations today. Dr. Veronica Martinez will present on the Quality Enhancement Plan, which focus on integration of technology, digital learning. And then Dr. Elizabeth Rodriguez, which will discuss our update on the Center of Teaching Excellence.
Very good.
And learning.
All right. Welcome. Welcome, Dr. Martinez.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Veronica Martinez, Interim Dean for Assessment and Research for the record. Thank you for allowing us time to present to you today on two initiatives that we are very excited about. By no means are we done with these. A lot of these are just beginning. And there's a lot more to do. But we are excited about our first initiative, which is the Quality Enhancement Plan. And for short, we call it QEP. The QEP, I did give you a short handout so that you can understand the development and the history of that. But as members of the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, which is SAC-COC, as part of our accreditation responsibilities, every institution in the SAC-COC region is tasked with creating a plan that is going to focus on student success. And so the plan is developed alongside when we do our decennial review, which is our 10-year review. And so we started developing topics or identifying topics that might serve the purpose for our QEP back in 2017, when we began the discussions for our current strategic plan. We had multiple discussions with a lot of entities, students, staff, community, business leaders, faculty. So there was a lot of input given into our strategic plan. And then by default, our quality enhancement plan. We also had a vote, a campus-wide voting process in 2018, where we had identified the top 3 topics, and the top topic that was selected by faculty, staff, and students was digital learning. And so our QEP is called Digital Connections, Bridging Learning and Technology. And the reason that we emphasize the bridging learning and technology, because there is no difference with the type of learning, the development or the delivery of the learning. It all focuses on student success. But with the advent of technology and listening to the needs of our students, we learned that as a college, we were not at the level that we wanted to be technology-wise. And so there's a big focus on technology within our QEP, but the ultimate goal of that is student success. So through digital connections with the college, the goal is that the college will be a student-ready college that is committed to student success, not only by way of instruction, but also through our own organizational processes and by improving the institution as well. And so overall, that is our goal. The QEP is a 5-year project. We are responsible. It was approved in 2019 when we had our SAC-COC visit, and implemented in 2020. And we are responsible for providing a 5th-year impact report in 2025. However, that is not the end of our QEP. If we embed it into our institutional culture, then it'll remain as part of our culture. So that is our goal, to embed it into all our processes and our instruction so that it will remain. And this is just an overview of the essence of our QEP. It has 3 primary goals: student engagement, where we want to create a model that integrates both student services and instruction, and there is no difference in what the student will get as far as the benefits, and so that we can integrate both of them and make it a complete service-oriented institution for colleges. Our goal number 2 is quality course control. Of course, we all know that the purpose of that students are here, whether traditional or non-traditional, is to learn and to move up in their career level or to find a career. And so the quality of the delivery of the content that we give to our students is of prime importance. And so that's a specific goal that we're looking at, but with a focus on integrating technology into those courses. And then the 3rd goal is professional development, because without engaging our faculty and staff and constantly learning, we are always a student in whatever position we're in, we're always learning. And so professional development is a key component of our QEP. together, those three goals are targeting student success. So the whole essence of our QEP is student success. And I did give you a handout that outlines each specific goal, but for purposes of this presentation, we just wanted to give you an update of where we are on each specific goal. I know that when we implemented our QEP, it was right around the time, right a little bit after COVID or before COVID hit. So we had, our plan was to incrementally within the 5 years, get to a point where all our courses had some technology component and that we improved the Wi-Fi on campus and so forth. Because on goal 1, what we say is we want to increase student engagement through digital learning opportunities, but we also want to upgrade and increase access and connectivity to everyone to enhance student learning, whether it's a student, a visitor, a staff, or faculty. And so when 2020 came around, we kind of had to accelerate some of those goals that we had outlined for further down the line. And so within 1 year or a year and a half of the QEP, we were able to accomplish some of the goals that we had set out for later. And so through the efforts of, it's a campus-wide effort, we were able to accomplish some of these things. One of the main things that we wanted to make sure when transitioning to hybrid or remote learning was that our students have the capacity to continue learning. And so a lot of effort was made to enhance the technology. And I'm not going to say that we're there yet. This is a continuous goal that we have, but we have made great strides in enhancing the connectivity. I know that through student services and through the academic affairs area, we identified students that needed laptops with Wi-Fi connectivity. We established hotspots for students. So there was not an issue of, I can't continue school because I don't have equipment, I don't have internet. So we tried to address some of those areas. Yes, ma'am?
Just a quick question, and this is in reference to one of the comments that was made by the faculty. I applaud you guys for trying to increase connectivity and student engagements through technology, but I know they had voiced a concern publicly about the lack of equipment as well. Has that also been addressed? Having access to computers, not only to students, but to faculty members as well?
Yes, that is continuously being addressed. Thank you for bringing that up. We did, as part of our ramping up the efforts to get students and faculty and staff connected, we did identify the need to purchase additional laptops that had cameras, that had the hotspots and so forth. So that is being addressed. If we do have still have some that are not up to par, our IT department is consistently inventorying to see where we are. I know as a staff member, we do get calls from IT because they have an inventory of how old our computers are and so forth. So they're re-evaluating where we are and giving us new equipment.
That's great to hear, because our faculty and staff are just as important as our students.
Exactly.
And it's important that they're at the same level.
Exactly.
So I applaud you all for your effort.
Thank you. And I agree. And as part of that also, we do call it student engagement, but the student engagement involves us, as staff and also faculty. And so along with the evaluation of where we were on equipment for students, we also did the same thing for staff, because as you heard from Ms. Lopez, I mean, there's a lot of need for our students, and we have to have staff that are ready to assist them. And so part of that includes having laptops that are adequate for our staff, and especially when working remote, we were all given the opportunity to remote connect. We had VPN access, we had all of that. So, but as I mentioned, that is ongoing. We are by no means done, but that is one of the key things that we are looking at. One of the other things our IT department is identifying areas around campus where, say, the Wi-Fi is not as strong as in other areas. And so by getting programs like EduRoam, where they set up access Wi-Fi networks around campus, that has helped increase the Wi-Fi connectivity. And so that's an ongoing effort, and that'll be throughout the rest of the plan and beyond. And then within academic or student services, they also identify some programs that assist students, like one of them, for example, is Circle In, which is a mobile app that they can access through Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system, and it allows students to create study groups. So even though they were learning remotely, they could still work within their student groups and connect with each other as well as with the faculty. And that's just one example. There's other apps and other programs that they were using. And then our academic units are moving towards utilizing ebooks and providing course resources electronically. Not all programs are there yet, but they're moving to that. One example is our new bachelor's degree, the BAS in Organizational Leadership, is using open-ended resources, right? So students for some classes don't even need to purchase a book because all the components are part of the class. And so we're moving towards that to assist our students as well as faculty. And then our library and our tutoring services, the library has invested so much into resources that students can access online. You don't even have to come to the library. If you're not able to come to the library, you can log in, you can access the documents that you need as far as on databases, books, they have videos, they have a lot of resources that they have added, and that will continue to increase as we move along. And then goal 2, I'm just going to cover briefly because we'll have more information on that for one of the other objectives, but quality course content is one of the key things for our QEP, and the college is consistently exploring and implementing digital learning tools and resources. As you all know, the computer world is consistently evolving, and so there's always a new program or a new resource that is available for campuses. And so we partner with Google, with Apple, with others, so that we're consistently learning about what's available. But one of the key things, and Dr. Rodriguez can expand on that more in her presentation, but and I know that she and her group and a lot of faculty mentors work really hard to get our courses Quality Matters certified. And so that Quality Matters has very specific criteria for courses to be accepted to be delivered online. And so if they don't meet that criteria, they're not allowed to deliver those courses online. A lot of work went into that to get everybody and faculty up to speed through the Quality Matters criteria. So that's something, a big accomplishment to have the college have all the online courses meet Quality Matters criteria. And that's an ongoing initiative that not only was done during the pandemic, but continues to be done. And a lot of disciplines, and I'll have more data on specific tools that they're using, but for example, I know in history, when we developed our QEP, we identified courses that are called gatekeeper courses. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I have a question. Who's responsible for monitoring and approving the quality course content? Because I know it's different departments, they all have different, is this done at the chair level for the department, or who's exactly responsible for approving the course content?
It's a collaborative effort between the departments. It involves the department chairs, the deans, of course, the academic affairs area, the curriculum committee. So it's a collaborative effort between multiple entities at the college, but we do have specific criteria that they need to comply with in order for it to be an approved course or an approved program.
Thank you.
If I may add, it's a nationally online practice. So once it goes through the department and the e-learning, then we send it to Quality Matters. It's a service, and it consists of peer reviewers nationally, and then they stamp whether the course. So we don't do it internally; it's sent out externally, and then once we get the stamp that it's a Quality Matters, then we advertise it as a Quality Matters course. So it is a very extensive process. And our goal is to have 100% of our online courses to be Quality Matters. So it's a copyright, it's a national online, and it's a very lengthy process, but I'm very proud that the faculty have worked incredibly hard because they know that in order to teach an online course, it needs to be of Quality Matters content approval.
And I can tell you, when you become a quality matters reviewer, it's a very extensive course, and I did follow that the course and the process. When you finish, it's like if you took a college course and you're finishing, so you're happy that you completed it, but it's very extensive. On the disciplines, we have we don't dictate what type of digital tools the disciplines will use. They themselves, the faculty, are the experts in the discipline, and they partner with a digital learning software or tool that will help them in their own areas. And I can say, like, Inquisitive is one of the tools that is used in our history classes. We identified history as one of our gatekeeper courses, which means that we had a high attrition rate, but students were not being successful. And so some of the strategies that have been implemented have helped us increase the success rate. And one of the tools that they are using are, well, actually two, Inquisitive and Cengage. And I'll have more data for you at a later meeting. But I just wanted to illustrate that there's a lot of technology that is being used, not necessarily just, Canvas or Google or so forth, but there's specific technology that is appropriate for each discipline. And that is consistently expanding as we go into goal 3, which is professional development. We partner with other companies or even conferences where you learn about technology or different platforms that are available out there that we bring back, or faculty that attend conferences bring back and present to the college. And then we make a concerted effort to make them available for faculty and staff, with the goal of providing not only professional development, but also implementing them as one of the best practices for our courses. So faculty receive professional development in multiple ways. Right now, because of COVID, we've been participating in virtual conferences mostly, but that has allowed us to have a bigger audience participate because the less travel costs. And then that leads us into, richer conversations about what's available and what is feasible to implement. And as I mentioned, we are sought out for, say, like Apple, Google, and so forth, with opportunities that they have available for partnerships. And so we collaborate with some of those. And also the coordinating board has been having a lot of opportunity grants that we've participated in. And so all of those provide resources, not only in resources in financial resources, but also resources in access to materials that are useful for our faculty. And in-house, we have, a lot of places always bring in external consultants, right? But it's also a best practice to look in-house. We have a lot of experts in certain areas, a lot of faculty that are being very creative with technology. And so using them to assist our faculty that may be unfamiliar with Canvas, all the components that can be used or have never taught online. And so they bring their expertise and provide professional development for our faculty and our staff. And so that is a practice that we are going to continue, and we are partnering with the Center for Teaching Excellence and Learning that will help us advance that. So overall on our QEP, we're on year 2 of our QEP, and we've already met some of the goals that we had initially, or objectives that we had initially identified, basically due to the meeting the needs of the students and faculty for the pandemic. But now we're moving beyond that and expanding. So what we said we were going to do in 5 years, we're looking beyond that and saying, okay, we already accomplished this. We still have 3 years left. Okay, what else can we do? Not only looking at numbers, but looking at quality. And how can we enhance what we already have in place, bring other faculty on board and making them, part of our peer mentors. And so we're partnering with the Center for Teaching Excellence and Learning. That's a new initiative that you'll hear from Dr. Rodriguez. We're highlighting faculty expertise and successes that, some of them may just use a simple digital tool that they found, and it's made a big difference in their class. And so sharing that knowledge with other faculty is important, and also supporting the technological infrastructure. We'll never be at 100% with technology, as it's always evolving, but I feel that we're moving in the right direction and expanding on the technology and the efforts that we make in those areas. has been a focus. And now partnering with other entities, especially with our IT and our e-learning departments, I think we're making big strides there. And then also strengthening the efforts between student services and instruction so that students don't have to, go to different areas to get what they need, but having the cross training within instruction and with student services, that we're all familiar with what it is that the student needs to do or what a faculty may need. And so bringing that together and having those discussions so that we don't have students going all over the place. We don't have students or we don't have faculty that do not have adequate technology because they don't know who to reach out to. So those are the initiatives that we are targeting as we move beyond on the QEP.
And I wanted to kind of go back to a point that Ms. Elizondo brought, and I'm glad to see that these things are happening. Obviously, 2 years ago, without being so redundant and repetitive, we were all taken by surprise. It was a big shock of this COVID thing. We didn't know how to work through it. I remember that great efforts were being made and quick efforts were being made through Dr. Rodriguez's department to train faculty on how to do an online class, the ones that were not doing that to begin with. What resulted was, and it was again one of those, let's band-aid this thing quickly because we need to stay afloat. We either sink or swim, with this current, the COVID thing, we don't want to lose our students. But I have the complaints as well that, first of all, why are we paying a fee for this online course? We have to pay $75 or something that we're telling me to hook onto the Canvas or something to be able. And then the teacher, we never see the teacher. He just tells us the first day, do this, do that. And the rest of the semester, the 4 or 6 weeks, we were on our own. So then the other complaint was, why are you paying these faculty people if we're learning by ourselves? It's like sitting at home and learning by ourselves. So I hope we've learned, from those mistakes or those, hurdles that we had to overcome, and that we've tightened that it no longer becomes an issue. Because, and I understand, if I've never taught online, all of a sudden you tell me, well, starting tomorrow, your class is going online. You're going, how do I do this? What do I do? Where do I go? I understand all of that as well. But again, that's the feedback that we get as board members, some of it has value, some of it somebody is frustrated, so they're just telling you and, probably exaggerating a little bit more than, but, and I get it from all this because 2 of those people were my employees and they were taking classes and they were just getting so frustrated. So we're just teaching ourselves. So why do we pay a fee, first of all? And why are you all paying a faculty member when they just flip it here and this is your lesson plan and see you in 6 weeks when the semester's over or something to that effect. So I'm glad to see these efforts are being made, that we're moving forward, and obviously we learn from the past, and
growing pains as they say,
exactly.
but I can tell you, Ms. Maris, that that has been taken into consideration. We get similar feedback as well, and that is part of the impetus between the Center of Teaching Excellence and incorporating it into other initiatives that we have, like the QEP. So that is being addressed. And, as best as we can, there's some faculty that take a little longer to get on board, but yes, that is being addressed. So thank you for bringing that up.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you. And now Dr. Rodriguez will present her Center for Teaching.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth Rodriguez, the Dean of Academic Innovation and Technology. And just to quickly address your point, Ms. Maris, we hear those things also. And before the Center of Teaching Excellence was born, a lot of our faculty, e-learning was tasked with providing professional development for faculty. But the professional development that was provided to faculty through the e-learning department was more on the technology, right? How to use Canvas, how to use Respondas, how to use VidGrid, all of the different technologies that we offer to faculty to be able to do their instruction. When COVID happened, it was a big lesson for us, right? A lot of our faculty were not prepared to teach online. And so I've often used the term that our faculty put their courses on autopilot, and that's something that we need to change, right? And that is the goal that's where the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning started, right? How can we teach faculty, we give them the professional development on technology, but let's address pedagogy, right? That's where they need the most help, right? And in order And I'm here for the faculty, right? Because that's who I work with more closely than our students. And so what we want to help faculty is how to deliver, not only in the online environment, but also in the face-to-face environment, because we have to consider that the students that are coming to college now are very different than they were years ago. You know, a student who goes to a face-to-face class doesn't want to sit and just listen to a faculty member lecture for an hour and a half, right? We need to address what the students want, and they want more technology. They want to be able to get in and out of the classroom quickly. And so that's part of what the goals of the Center of Teaching Excellence is all about, right? And so the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning aligns its goals with the Laredo College's mission and strategic plan, right? And the two main focuses are on instruction, which we talk about course design, but we want to make sure that it's learner-centered, right? Assessing the learning, making sure that we have student engagement, and making sure that the technologies that we use for teaching are going to effectively be able to deliver that engagement that students are looking for, to make sure that our faculty are fully engaged, again, not only in the online environment, but also within the classroom. The other main focus is on student learning, right? Teaching specific student populations, and again, looking at equity, diversity, and inclusion, making sure that we address those needs for students. So in developing the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning, we have located a space on campus. It's the Act 115. We're currently working with our finance office and with Dr. Tijerina and Dr. Adesola to make sure that we get all of the different technology, because what we want to do is we want to create a center where faculty can go and learn, right? A space for them to be able to learn, and not only offer everything that we're working on developing from coming out of the center, but to be able to offer face-to-face for faculty, because we still have a lot of faculty who prefer to learn face-to-face, but also to give them the opportunity to learn online or hybrid, right? The same way, the same modes of instruction that we do for students, that's exactly what we're doing for faculty as well. In developing the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning, we wanted to make sure that faculty had a voice, right? So we identified 6 faculty members who are our lead faculties, who are working closely with me to develop a lot of different things that are going to be coming out of the Center of Teaching Excellence. And so we have different roles. We have our faculty lead, which is Prakash Mansinghani, and he is the one that works, you know, with setting up the meetings and kind of working together with the faculty that have been identified to lead this particular initiative. And then we have the content creators and facilitators, which are Lourdes Gutierrez, we have Jody Sandel, Dr. Patricio, Michelle Perez, and Nita Ramirez. And so we tried to select faculty from different areas. And really, when identifying these faculty, we wanted to make sure that these were leaders within their own peers, right? Because one of the things that we've learned, and we've learned it with Quality Matters and with a lot of the different initiatives that we've had, is that faculty want to hear from their own faculty. In order to get faculty buy-in, we have to have those key faculty members who are champions within their areas to believe in what we're doing, to be able to take that to their peers, right? And so that's how we were able to identify these faculty members. The other thing is that we, in looking at the goals for the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning and looking at the goals for the QEP, we felt that they were very similar. And so we decided to partner with Dr. Martinez so that we're not duplicating efforts, right? What comes out of the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning can also be part of what we're doing with QEP. One of the first things that we did, and I gave you a copy of that, I won't go into it because it is an extensive document. You can also find it on our website, is a roadmap, right? In order to be able to ensure that the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning is something for the long run. You know, we don't want to just do it now and then it kind of just fades away with time. We want to make sure that we do it correctly. And so we developed a roadmap, and this includes 3 different stages, right? The beginning and the development. And then if you can look at the document and it'll go through that. And then it talks about year 1, what we want to do in year 1, what we want to do in year 2, and then moving forward year 3 and beyond. And again, I won't go, this is a living document. It's not set in stone. this is kind of like a guide for myself and for the faculty to be able to say, okay, what is it that we want to come out of the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning? What are our goals? But it is a living document. It can change as we move year to year. And so what are some of the things that we can expect from the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning? Everything that we're doing is research-based, right? And because that's another thing that we've learned from faculty. You know, they want to ensure that what we're doing is not something that we just pulled out of a hat and we think it's going to work. No, we're doing a lot of research to ensure that the professional development that comes out of the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning is something that is going to work, right? And of course, there's going to be some hit and misses because that's the way things are. But we're doing a lot of research to ensure that we do integrate the best practices, and then we look at the different pedagogies and the different strategies to be able to ensure that our faculty are fully engaged, that they learn how to fully engage a student regardless of the mode of delivery that their instruction is in. And so some of the things that we're putting together is different trainings with the goal of having our Teaching Excellence Academy. Right, and the Teaching Excellence Academy is going to have faculty go through different modules. Right now, we're working on developing standalone workshops and trainings, but the goal is to then bring those workshops together and create different modules to then develop our Teaching Excellence Academy. We also have the on-demand workshops, which we offer online, and these are created by our faculty, our lead faculty that are part of the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning. And then we also have our 2 mentor videos, and I encourage you to go to our website, and I put it there, it's www.laredo.edu/CETA, and you can see some of the work that we've already been doing. Faculty has already been creating the 2-minute mentor videos, and these are just short videos on different topics. One of the things that we did is we sent out a survey to faculty because we wanted to hear from the faculty to see what it is that they feel that they're lacking, what areas can we help them succeed in. And so looking at those results, we were able to then determine, let's start off with the 2-minute mentor videos and address some of these topics that the faculty were concerned about. And then those 2-minute mentor videos will then develop into larger workshops. Another thing that we want to start doing as well is highlighting some of the work that our faculty are already doing, because there's a lot of faculty out there that are already integrating technology into their classroom. They're doing a lot of innovative things. When COVID hit, we had a lot of faculty think outside the box, and we want to make sure that we highlight what they're doing and use them as inspiration for other faculty. We also have our monthly newsletter, and I attached 2 of our newsletters to the information that I gave you. And that also shows you, again, just a brief overview of what we're doing. And that's also an opportunity. We're using that as an opportunity to continue to reach out to faculty to show them what it is that we're doing and to keep them up to date as to where the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning is headed. We're also going to develop a tools and tips best practices resource center, and that's going to be a place for faculty. It'll be on our website, and that'll be a place where faculty can go and, if they want to use a particular technology, well, how can I integrate it into my classroom? Or how can I go about integrating a particular technology? And I know that one of the concerns is, and we hear it from faculty all the time, is, well, you want me to use technology, but then it doesn't work in the classroom. So we are working really closely with our IT department. So if we identify a particular technology, we sit down with Mr. Chavez and his team to ensure that whatever technology we move forward with integrating into the classroom or into the online environment, that faculty and students won't have an issue with it. I touched a little bit on the survey. So that was one of the things, I've learned a long time ago that in order to get faculty buy-in, you have to give them an opportunity to tell you what they want, right? Hear them out, right? And that was one of the things that we wanted to accomplish with the survey. Get a sense of what they're feeling. A lot of time, also, one of the things we're trying to address is the burnout that COVID has brought to a lot of our faculty, right? A lot of times we focus more on our students and we kind of, forget about our faculty. But we want to make sure that faculty feels that there's a support system out there for them. And so some of those 2-minute mentor videos is how to deal with burnout, how to make sure that you take care of yourself so that you can be effective in what you're doing. And that's also something, we want to come out of the Center of Teaching Excellence, that they feel that this center is a place for support for them. We are working on a student survey because I think the other element that's critically important to the Center of Teaching Excellence and Learning as we move forward in the development of the different professional workshops that we want to put together and essentially with our Teaching Excellence Academy is what do students want to see in the classroom, right? What changes would they like to see in the classroom? What sort of technology would they like to see implemented in the classroom? And so that's part of what the survey that we're working on, to be able to hear the student's voice and work around that and make sure that we prepare our faculty again to meet the needs of the 21st century student. That's all I have.
Excellent presentation. Now that we have a lot of homework, a lot of reading to do from you. but
Any
it's,
questions?
It is very well placed. Thank you for all the work that you do as well. I think it's very important to prepare our faculty as well and give them all the support that they need, besides our students and our staff. In these horrible times, sometimes we don't focus on, and we need to come back and I'm sorry, maybe this is part of what our next meeting should be, and I'll share with my colleagues here. Those are the topics, but keep on doing what you're doing. It's excellent, and hopefully at the next go around, we hear what you've done that's thus far, and what results you've gotten from your survey, and how the faculty are reacting, and all the new innovative changes that you and Dr. Martinez have put together.
Thank you. And I encourage you again to visit our website. That is where we're going to maintain the latest information as to where the center is headed and what we're doing that's coming out of the center.
Good. I like that academy.
Thank you.
Academy you're gonna have. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Rodriguez. Appreciate it. I think that as far as what we were going to tackle, we had set out for us to do 3 months ago. I think we've pretty much covered all those components. Now, what's next? When will our next meeting be as a committee? What would this committee, pardon me, what would this committee then want to now focus on to address student success, to encompass a lot of the things that have been brought forth before us? I've heard the convocation speech from Dr. Don Juan, and it was, very invigorating and motivating, and made you want to go out there and start, hitting those rose bushes and making some pathways and create some successes. There's a lot of components, I think, to our strategic plan. So I think we just need to focus on a couple at a time, as I said when I first opened up the meeting. Otherwise, we'll just be all over the place. But nothing is too unimportant for us to tackle. I guess that's my underlying comment. Whatever it is that we want to see as a committee to take back to the board will always be, the essential component of what this institution represents: education and success for everyone, no matter what. And obviously, all these, what do you call these terms that are buzzwords, that are out there, but they are important, about the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion. We're preparing our students, we're giving them all the resources and the ammunition, as well as our staff. But in my next thing that I would like to tackle, and I don't know if this is the job of this committee or not, and the staff has the answers. How are we preparing, or setting the direction for post-COVID in helping our students address any mental health issues because of COVID? I mean, again, I don't know if that's what, we have certainly health, providers and health educators in our system that, and I don't know that if we could do that, that would be something that I would like to see, because it's important. I mean, you see it everywhere else, everybody's been and we're still, looking at our family members getting COVID again, even though they've already vaccinated, and you're going, what? There's mass confusion as to, so vaccinations are not good, kind of a thing. You hear all of that and say, well, I don't want to go out. I still don't want to go out. Or the conflicts that they have within themselves, and that it's hard for them to come out and verbalize them. And so I'd like to see what we would do, if anything, in that respect. and I think also keep monitoring what matters the most. And obviously, students are at the top of the list, but so is our faculty and our staff. So I don't know what monitoring what matters most we can zero in on, other than the coursework and graduation rates, passing grades, for the certain courses. Or anyway, I'd like to open it up, Ms. Cepeda. Any thoughts on what our next, goals or topics should be for this committee? Sorry.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the staff today, everybody that presented today. Very informative. We appreciate all of your help. I know it's very hard. We're going through some hard times, but hopefully we'll get over it and we'll be back to normal if there's a normal. But I agree with Ms. Mares as far as the mental health aspect of, because I know all of us are probably dealing with it, especially with COVID. We've had friends, families being affected by it once, twice, the third time already. And we've lost a lot of community members, friends, family as well. So I agree with Ms. Mares. I don't know what Ms. Elizondo would have to say as far as what our next committee meeting will be. Did you want to meet next month or?
Last time we waited because obviously staff had some time to put the data together. So that's what I'm saying. We need to zero in on the thoughts or processes or the next goal on our strategic plan, or what is it that, we need to be informed about that we're not at this point in time, but then giving them, some time to do that. So we normally kind of were saying like maybe every other month until we got enough data and had them have time to put it
Or
together.
once
And
a
then-
quarter, maybe?
Also, that could be.
I think
too.
that would give
What I
you
mean.
all more time to work on the different things that you've been working on.
Once a quarter.
What is your take in it? Once a quarter, would that work with all of you? I don't know, we hate keeping you all
I
after
know,
work
exactly.
too.
And again, burdening you with more
I know.
stuff that probably some of you might just be at the click of a button and it's all there already, which is great, but nonetheless, you still have to organize it and put it in some methodical form and to present to us, and things of that nature. But again, not to take away from your schedules, but just letting us have a pulse. I think that's really what this whole, committee was about, so that we lose touch. Everybody gets involved in their own little worlds and we don't have a pulse. And then we have constituents or somebody pose a question to us, you're going, I'll get back to you. I don't have that information with me. Not that we have to know every single thing, but at least we can now say we've been informed and we know what's going on in this great campus of ours, and that our faculty, our staff, everyone, directors are all, doing, going above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that our students, get to the pathways and the goals that they need. So if we meet every quarter, to me, that sounds fine. And then, but we need to give you direction on the topic or matters, whatever. Dr. Tijerina, you have any recommendations what we should tackle next?
Well, if I may, Ms. Mares and board members, to us, we could talk about the campus and our services every day. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready next month. If I can make some suggestions, I like the idea of presenting the mental, definitely, Andrea, right away, she shook to me, like, we're ready to present on that item because it's something we are very adamant about. The other thing, maybe what we could also present, if you all want next month, is also the great work HSOC and HR has done, because obviously the COVID exposures, the COVID impact on our students and our employees has not stopped, but yet we have worked tremendously well with students and employees that we keep the momentum. If they're able to do remote instruction, remote work, we work with them to get through this period, this pandemic. And so we could present those two things, because that's what every day we face, the mental challenge and also the physical challenge of what do we do when a person cannot physically be on campus. And so if you all want, we can present those two items, and you all just let us know whether monthly, we're fine with every monthly, every other month, whatever the committee decides. We're always ready to present.
why don't we shoot for March? I know February might be crazy here with a lot of stuff going on in the community, if the WBCA, if it all happens at all or not. So is March okay? Meeting in March, maybe around this time? Is this okay? Like the first of the month or the middle of the month, whatever's available. Another topic that I would be interested in learning, and if we have these issues or not, and it's, not key, but again, it just stays with me about the inclusion, and we have so many groups now. You just can't say, we talked about this, you just can't say male or female or everything like that. So I'd be curious to find out any statistical data that we may have, or how are we identifying them? Are we allowed to legally or not in the form, when you fill in your application, your gender, the gender thing. I don't know, Mr. Muir is here, that if I'm stepping on some very, sensitive lines here, but yeah, I mean, how do we go about that if we're not doing it and we want to? Is that something, Mr. Muir, is there anything out there right now that you know of? That how we can tackle that?
No, I think that could be looked into, and I could work with Dr. Tijerina on that, and make sure we don't step on any of the federal laws that would prohibit looking at that characteristic.
I was just curious because maybe nobody's confronted us, maybe nobody's come up, but I don't know how many are holding back, from checking off whichever square, and they feel that, no, transgender or whatever, and to make them feel comfortable. And again, the inclusion part of this whole change that we're, trying to, amass and try to move forward with. So if you can, all right. So then-
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Dr. Tijerina. So I guess we've got our homework and, well, you all have your homework. But thank you all for the time again, as Ms. Cepeda pointed out. We're totally appreciative of each and every one of you individually. We may not get to see you every day or say it every day, but we do value everything that you do as an institution, because it's people like you that keep the wheels rolling and so we thank you wholeheartedly, on behalf of the board and ourselves individually. So nothing there being on the agenda, then I adjourn this meeting. It is approximately 7:03. Wow, great job, everybody. Lean and stream. Thank you all. Have a pleasant night and stay safe, please. Thank you. Good night, everybody.